I'll call the meeting to order at 10 a.m. and we will open up for public comment. Wes, you got anything for us?
Season's greetings.
Any comment from the board? I think it'd be a good opportunity now to introduce some of the new faces. Maybe we should go around and say who we are, just so, since we have some new people. Thank goodness. Welcome to the team, the board. We're glad to have some more bodies, thoughts.
Well, I feel so valued.
Vision. Well, we do have a good amount of bodies, but I mean, I'm
Some
really,
new faces.
yes, I'm excited to
Some
see
prettier
some new faces, some new input, new energy, which is exciting for sure. Hi, come on.
Followed your voice.
Oh, you did?
I was like, there's Audrey.
So I'll start. I am the new president. My name is Audrey Wardwell. I've been with the organization for 3 years now. I worked mainly on DISI, the district identity, so worked with doing lots of murals and the events and decorating downtown. I'll pass on to Larry.
I'm Larry Boussard. I've been on the board for 5 or 6 years. I'm a retired city employee. I was the redevelopment director for the city for a number of years. And know where a few of the skeletons are buried, so has some value once in a while. Not a lot, but some value.
Perfect. Steve, you're up.
Steve-ish, Taylor Fresh Foods. I think I've been on the board about 5 or 6 years. Been with them at that standpoint. I am now the past president, so.
He's not happy about it at all.
Totally lifted off from us.
I forgot, I'm on the land use committee besides this, anyway.
And that's a committee that I want to go on.
Yeah.
So,
Willette Jones, I am a new, I think that's done the vote on.
no.
Oh, you already did.
Yeah, that happened
Voted
last
last
week.
month, okay.
I thought I told you, you're already in.
You probably did. My name is Willette Jones. I am new to this board. I have served previously on the YWCA Board of Salinas. Also, I am a past president of the Monterey Bay Chapter of the Links Incorporated, business owner downtown Salinas. Actually, I've been in Salinas about 35 years, I think. So, yeah, a long time. Anything else you want to know, I'm welcome to share.
Thank
So
you.
just glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Greg Paini, treasurer. I've been on board since this thing was founded, so a few years. Yeah.
I'm Jenna Hanson-Abramson, and I do the marketing and PR for Salinas City Center, and I've been working with the board since 2016.
I'm JD Serpa. I've been around for a while. I'm older than everybody except for Boussard.
That's a claim to fame.
That's all you need to say.
Thanks a lot.
Greg.
I'm Greg Hammer. I am district coordinator. I am the full-time staff putting most of these things together. If you guys have any questions, I am your guy to give a call to, point contact on the street, et cetera, et cetera. So if you guys need to get a hold of me, just reach out.
Tom Bennett, I've been involved for 3 minutes and 4 seconds. I grew up here. I moved away the day after I went to high school. I did not live here for 43 years. But you're laughing at me, don't you?
You're just a breath of fresh air.
So,
Breath of fresh
but
air.
my in-laws, Bob and Emmy Ames, have owned the corner of Alice Al and Salinas Streets for 50 plus years. So we own from the Kingston around to Chicano Barbers. Unfortunately, I get to manage that thing. All I can say is I love Bob. He's been gone a year, and the words preventative maintenance never left the man's lips. So
That was the thought.
When in doubt, don't do it.
Yeah.
oh my God,
It's fine.
you can believe what we found behind those walls. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big believer in the city of Salinas. I'm very involved with various charities, Rancho Cielo, American Cancer Society. I am a survivor, and I'm very proud to have grown up here, and I believe in this town. So
Great in-laws.
Yeah, good people.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Castagna. I'm the president and CEO for United Way Monterey County. We are the proud owners of this building, our Community Impact Center, and I'm very happy to host these meetings. It looks like we're going to need a bigger conference room next time, and so we can arrange for that. But and I've been on the board of the Salinas City Center for a year, so I'm still feeling like a newbie. But here I am, and I guess I'm secretary now.
Yes, glad to have you. Thank you.
I reminded myself as I looked at the meeting minutes. Oh yes,
No good deed goes unpunished.
yes.
Hi, I'm Jason Retterer. I'm a partner with the law firm JRG Attorneys at Law. And me and my partners own the building at 318 Cayuga Street, right across from the county administrative offices. I got involved with the Downtown Association when it was the Old Town Salinas Association many moons ago before SCCIA even started. I was involved with that organization on the board for many years, and then joined this board. God, I don't know, Greg, how long's it been? I think maybe 4 years?
You precede me.
So maybe 4 or 5 years. But because we're property owners in the downtown, we're obviously invested in the downtown area and want to see this area succeed and thrive. So,
And he chairs the land use committee.
yeah, land use committee, I'm chair of the land use committee as well.
I'm Amy Salmina. I am a downtown business owner. I own Coast and Valley Properties. We do property management. And I also own the building on Main Street. So we own across the street from Bar Locker Insurance. It's Jim Gaddis's old building. And
That's not saying much, you don't have to do that.
Right, 376 Main Street. So we're right on the corner of West Dallas, or West San Luis and Main. So I am, or East San Luis. I'm third generation from Salinas. I love it here. My kids, I have 4 children. 3 of them have attended Salinas High School. 1 still attends. And my youngest child goes to school at Sacred Heart. But definitely want to see downtown thrive. I want to see the city thrive for the betterment of our children.
Where's Clint?
But yeah, just really want our city to represent what our downtown represents. So I'm real excited about our downtown. Hopefully we'll be able to take what we've done here and what you guys have worked so hard for and bring that to other areas of our city so that they can thrive as well as I feel the downtown has thrived.
I'm Frank Saunders. I've been here too long, almost as long as Jay. But I own Gavilan's properties and a number of buildings on the corner of
In
Main
the other half of
Gavilan.
downtown.
Yeah, I'm here because I love this area. I've been here for so many years, and I remember when it was in really bad shape, you know, and a lot of problems in the downtown, and now it's clean and it feels really good. We've got a ways to go, and that's why I'm still here on the board. I've been here on this board since it was formed, and I feel good about our future.
We owe Frank a bunch of things. He's been a major contributor for 40 years here, Frank?
Yeah.
It's longer, I hate to
Longer?
say it.
Yeah.
50.
It's been a while. So you've been a major contributor.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Stays
Jay.
committed, which is nice. Well, let's move on to the consent agenda, and again, thank you all for coming aboard. It's fun to see the room packed. Any questions with the minutes from November or financial report? I'll ask for a motion. Anybody?
I'll make a motion.
Don't forget public comment.
Yes, we did public comment earlier, and then
Okay.
public comment will be next, yeah.
I'll make a
Thank you.
motion to move.
Second.
Can I just make a comment on the financials? As a relative newcomer and for everybody involved, just noting that our fiscal year ends November 30, right? And so this is the full 12 months, so it just happens to be an odd fiscal cycle, but it's a great place to start when we're looking at the financials, so. That's all.
Okay. And then motion, and there was a second?
Yes.
Okay, Carrie, perfect. We'll open up for public comment.
You want to take a vote?
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Perfect. now we're gonna move on to public comment. Wes, you got anything for us?
Well, I guess I would think that you're supposed to, if you make a motion and a second, then you're supposed to discuss whatever, open it up for public comment, and then deliberate, make it a vote. So, whatever, order of procedure, nothing really.
Thank you, Wes.
Kind of like how city council does it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's correct. So we got these bullet point items, public comment, board questions, discussion on the items above, and then action by the board. So
Okay,
let's do that first in the future. That's good.
okay.
First time around, no worries.
Yes.
Over.
Are we? Should.
I'll edit this part out, go ahead.
Wait, don't do that.
Where's Nixon's secretary when we need him?
Excuse me?
Where's Nixon's secretary when we need him?
Right. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the president's comments, and wanted to share, we know that CSUMB is for sale. We understand that sale is in hopes of anticipating student housing. There is talks that they will keep the museum open due to a long-term contract. So it'll be nice to have the building.
Student housing at the center?
I don't know where, I think they might be using the funds to build student
Oh.
housing somewhere,
Yes.
is the way I understood it.
Is Hartnell the supposed buyer?
I'm not sure. I don't
That's
have
what-
that
I've heard that
information.
rumor, but
Yeah.
I know people at Hartnell that I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Where in the hell Hartnell would have the money? Anyway, that's just
Can
curious.
you clarify what part of CSUMB,
CSUMB owns the National Steinbeck Center.
Yeah, okay,
They-
this part, right down.
The city, the city sold it to them about 38 cents on the dollar from what it cost. But that's a whole other discussion. I know this because I was the redevelopment director and was involved, but anyway, well, Steve knows it too. All right, 38
But-
cents?
But I don't think it has fulfilled their needs or expectations, the CSUMB, so they've been trying to sell it.
For a
So you
while.
heard
Oh,
they
I
want
didn't
to
know.
convert it to student housing?
Not the center itself, but I
Okay.
understand they're gonna use the funds from selling the
Oh,
building
got it,
for
okay.
student
How in
housing
the world did
wherever
they
they
convert
may
that?
find that appropriate.
Oh, got
You
it.
can use the funds.
Yes.
It's just been very underutilized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a
Do they own that
Yeah,
apartment
yeah.
parking garage next to it?
No.
Or not?
That's
No.
city.
property.
Cities?
Yeah. Which, yeah, we'll share some fun news with DISI about the.
I don't understand how they're going to keep the museum alive in there if, unless there's some sort of a deed
I think they-
restriction.
Well, they have a long-term lease on it, so when it sells,
not a-
that lease will carry.
It's a
over.
lease, so.
It's not a deed restriction, but it's a lease, it's a covenant on the lease. So it has to remain for, I think, 49 years or something.
Okay, okay, well, yeah, that
Yeah.
answers it.
Okay, and then we have, the old Sears building, is being redeveloped, which is exciting for North Salinas. They're talking about putting a Dave and Buster's out there, at Northridge Mall, which, will bring some more attractions and traffic downtown. The LSL Beautification Plan, there's a new strategic plan and funding program that has been adopted. The initiative will focus on enhancing the area's cultural, center, arts, and shopping appeal. We're also helping with the city, stakeholders within the community, so we would love to share our experience, what things have worked, what things haven't worked with them, and really align the best that we can to help LSL as our board. It would be great for all of us to contribute with helping LSL as well. That is it for me. We've got the treasurer's report.
Yeah, so for welcoming the new people, and so kind of go back a little history on the treasury and why we're year-end today or now. So yeah, fiscal year starts December 1st, goes through November 30th. And they did that originally because of the timing of funding. So we're paid through property tax assessments. First payments are usually due December 10th, so we collect mid to late December sometimes beginning of January, our first assessment. So when this group was started, they wanted to time its funding when we had money. Okay, and so that's why it was a December 1st start fiscal year. We would get funds in December, ideally, to start off, and it's been like that ever since. So we get one check usually. Lately, it's been more January. I feel like the city and the county have been a little tardy. January. Second installment is taxes are due April, so we usually get that, call it May. And then usually there's a third check we get for all kind of the late payments that come in after that. So that's kind of the reason why for the fiscal year as it is. Just real quick on the year end, we had kind of budgeted to overspend $61,000 last year. And we're overspending our budget for the newcomers because we built up a surplus during COVID where we couldn't spend our funds. And so right now what we're doing is we're accelerating our funding to draw that down. The idea is we're spending the assessments we get. But we actually only overspent $3,500, and I attribute most of that, call it savings, to the grant funds we're able to get. We're able to, some of the marketing and district identity items were able to be, funded essentially by grant funds. So that'll kind of push out, call it our surplus before we exhaust it, a little extra time. So anyway, that was really no huge surprises over the year. Most things, SOBO and DISI were under budget. Administration overall was under, with some items above, some below. But yeah, that's kind of really all I have for the year end.
Thanks, Greg. I'll pass on to the district coordinator, Greg.
You got it. Let's see, I'll leave Jenna to talk about the DISI stuff, what we've done for the holidays. But in terms of slight follow-up that Jenna doesn't do, is holiday decorations and everything will be coming down first week of January. So that's going to be taken care of. Banner replacements are also going to happen first week of January. Let's see, big one that Amy knows about, and I also emailed Greg, but we didn't talk about it. I took action with Allied Universal and I released one of the guards. I'm pretty sure that they were not filling out their timesheets properly and basically lost confidence in this particular guard. So I've asked Allied not to bring this guard back. And he covered the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 to 11 p.m. shift. So we're currently in discussion what we're going to do with SOBO to either rehire or kind of move that around and see what we're going to do. But this particular guy didn't do a whole lot. Let's see. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. I'm prepping for the new year with things that we've got on the slate. In terms of what events and what decorations, banners, etc. we're going to be putting up in 2025. So that's kind of my report there.
So, question.
Yes, sir.
The security, I assume we use an outside vendor?
Yes.
So we have, but we can pick and choose who is on our team. But I assume the 3 to 11 slots being covered by a floater of theirs?
Well, they had so end of last fiscal, we changed things around from 2 guards at 40 hours to 1 guard at 40 and 1 guard at 24 hours.
Okay.
And we shifted the time to cover more weekend and nighttime activities because they were both daytime. And the person they sent in was not, it was a part-time gig then, and off hours, so the person they sent in wasn't necessarily the highest caliber. And so, I've been checking on this particular guard, and while we don't get to handpick, like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z.
No, I get it.
If they do send someone that's par, we reserve the right to say, no, thank you.
So but somebody is fulfilling that role right now?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
not currently.
So 3 to 11 were uncovered?
Correct, as of earlier this week, as of Monday.
Okay.
Well, we would need to get somebody covered in there.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's
We pay for
Thursday,
it.
Friday, Saturday, we
Right.
need to definitely have them just.
Especially because the holidays are coming.
Well, that's Allied's role to bring that person to us.
Yeah, but I told them to hold off until we get to have the discussion with the SOBO committee.
Oh,
So that's what we're waiting on at this moment.
And what's that
I'm
discussion?
sorry, which committee?
SOBO,
Sidewalk operations and beautification.
thank you. Sorry, we all about
That's
it.
okay, it's acronym.
Yeah, so it's
It's in
basically,
order.
it's
It'll make
basically,
you dizzy.
SOBO does security, landscaping, and maintenance.
Committee, it's not part of this, or is it part of this committee?
It's
Yes.
an ad hoc
It is.
subcommittee,
Got it,
so.
yes, subcommittee of this.
I think we need somebody right now.
We need
I don't
somebody
think
right
this is a
Yeah, I
time
don't
to
think,
take
yeah,
them off,
yeah, you should get
particularly
somebody.
during
Yeah.
Christmas.
You got it.
Yeah,
So-
put somebody on, fire that guy, but put somebody to replace him at that time until we
Yeah.
meet. We can't have a lag time. So if you can call Allied and then make sure that they're on, find somebody else,
Will do.
but yeah, that'd be great.
And
And
then,
SOBO can discuss later if we want
Yeah.
to change
Right.
roles.
but
So.
the other thing is, if we wanna make sure this person's moving around, now I have cameras all over my building, I'm sure you probably have cameras everywhere. Hey, you have to show up at this spot at this time, or every X many minutes, and show, and we can check on the cameras, there's no reason for you to have to go out there. You can check on this in the morning and make sure they made their rounds. I mean, there's systems for this, but you can do it with a camera.
That's what I was just going to say. I believe there's some type of device, sometimes when they have to be at a location at a certain time, that they can swipe a card or
They have an app on
something.
their phones.
Or an app, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
quite sure, but if that system doesn't, we don't have that system to show up on that camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a camera.
You'd be surprised what you can see what.
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of things that happen.
Craig,
Yeah.
it might be beneficial for you to just roughly explain what each of the committees are responsible for and how much of the budget is allocated. Because the downtown security is the biggest item on our budget, is it not still?
No, so there's basically two committees, two ad hoc committees, that are funded through the assessments. There's SOBO, which is Sidewalk Operations Beautification Order, so that's the landscaping, maintenance, security. They get the biggest chunk, 60% of the total assessment funds go to SOBO. Okay, the other one is DISI, District Identity and Streetscape Improvements. They're more the marketing, the actually making improvements and murals and stuff like that.
We like to say putting the jewelry on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making it pretty.
Beautification.
So they get 22% of the assessment funds. The rest of the assessment funds go to administration, which is 14%, and contingency reserves, which is 4%. That split is spelled out in our bylaws when we were founded. So that's how it's allocated out. Security gets about 100,000 of what SOBO gets. And so as far as sidewalk operations, the landscaping, that's 125,000, so it's not the main thing, but it's a substantial, it's a good 20% of our total funding goes to security, so.
And our total assessment is still pretty close to 500?
495 is
Yeah.
projected for this coming fiscal year.
So I think you're clear, Greg, on that, and then look at the tracking software that they have and how we can utilize the app, because that should make it easier just to monitor in general. And that accountability will be good communication with the next person. Perfect. Any other?
Nothing that goes into like my district coordinator thing, the rest is just SOBO and DISI stuff.
Okay.
Well, Greg, could you just comment, I saw an email about a recent grant that we received.
Yes.
So that's good news, and then how is that money supposed to be allocated or earmarked?
It is from the Community Foundation Monterey County, the guys on Garden Road there. It was $50,000 and it is a general grant, so we can put it towards anything.
Relatively.
Relatively, yeah. And most of the time these grants.
Christmas party?
That's one hell of a party. Most of the time, these grants end up going towards DISI stuff, because that's where the SOBO stuff seems to be budgeted out of our budget, and it's taken care of. But the DISI is where we do all of our fun projects, and
They cost way more than our budget allows.
yeah, like the murals are $30,000 a pop. So this will take care of banners, murals, other art installations, et cetera, et cetera. That's probably where this is going to go towards, I would
And then
imagine.
ideas too, that anyone has, wishes and dreams, I mean, share them. We're actively looking and getting grants, so we want to pursue the interest of the community as a whole, so definitely share ideas of what people want to see out there.
Well, given that we have a new city council, and one of their big tasks is the homeless situation, and I use that word, don't get me started on homelessness, because it's a very complicated subject, and I can talk about it for hours. I guess I have a couple thoughts. First of all, I think we may want to wait until we kind of see what they're going to do, because maybe that's something we can do to complement whatever they plan on doing. But the other question is, how are we going to stay involved or in tandem with their discussions so that we're not
That's part of the
represented
stakeholder
at the table?
meeting. I think we can get some representation there at the stakeholder meeting that they're doing every quarter, but it's not a ton. So I don't know if you have ideas to add to that, Steve.
Well, I think we need to, with this new council, go back to what we used to have, in which case there was about 3 or 4 members of the board, including the president, being involved, and basically set up quarterly meetings.
Yeah.
We used to have monthly meetings.
Yeah,
I was going to say, it's quarterly enough.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, we need to
I'm
stay engaged.
we haven't had meetings with them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what all is gonna be on their plate from that
Well,
standpoint.
bluntly, there's a fairly serious disconnect with this past council.
Shocking.
And it's pretty important for us to get reconnected, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
And
And
without going further than that,
with emails to Renee, to the city manager, we were kind of in a holding pattern until the new council got sworn in. So now that that's happened, we can kind of pick that lead up again.
But it's definitely something to keep the conversation going so that we are more of a complement and less duplication, for sure. Anything else, Craig? Okay. Any public comments?
Sure, why not? Well, homelessness was invoked, so here I am.
I know.
So the Monterey County Homelessness Committee is a subcommittee on the county. They're looking to follow the USICH, which is the Interagency Council on Homelessness, for a 19-point principle approach that does not include sweeps, that does not include taking away people's possessions. The problem is that people can't afford rent. And if they're signed for housing, then they should be afforded some land, 20 by 20, 400 square feet, and a structure. Sometimes it's their vehicle, and be allowed to have that. I mean, if you have a toy RV and you go on a vacation for a weekend, whatever, you can have it anywhere. But if you live in it, we want to take it from you. It's a lot easier to not have so much open discrimination. It's a lot easier to wait for fruition of housing. Everyone complains about the nonprofits not doing enough. Well, what are the jurisdictions doing to help? They take away people's property, tell them you can't be here, you're a forever criminal. You may as well be a native because we're out to scalp you, and every day you do it because that's what's happening. The trailer comes, the dumpster comes, the bulldozer comes. It's trauma. You wonder why people are doing drugs? Because you're abusing them. They need to escape somehow. It's raining out, you know, there's no structure, there's no tarp, there's no blankets. People need a seal to even be able to stay dry before they can stay warm. So you're causing hypothermia. People have died, you know, Monterey, a couple people died, just no blanket, 28 degrees. Is that the kind of compassion we want to put forward? So hopefully we're coordinating more with the jurisdictions in more of a shelter-in-place kind of model where we're just providing services to people, running water, electricity, shower, laundry. If health and safety is our real concern, if we really want to reintegrate people into society, then we need to support that.
With any questions or further discussion? Okay, we'll move on to our ad hoc committee. DISI, Jenna will be sharing a little bit of DISI's progress. Thank you.
So we just did the Salinas tree for peace lighting. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to hook this up, but can you guys kind of see? So just to kind of recap who was involved, Salinas City Center. We had the Salinas Chamber involved. They brought the sound system. They helped MC. They took photos for us. Salinas Fire Department was involved again. They brought Santa, and they bring the ladder truck, and they go up and they light the tree. It's all for show. I'm actually on the ground lighting it. Santa Claus and his magical elf were there. Yosal and Ariel Theatrical were our performers. Mayor Kimberly Craig was the MC. We had a craft table. Starbucks Taylor Farms and Brewgy Coffee Company served free hot cocoa from 2 to 5 p.m. and SECIA subsidized the cocoa. Where it was promoted. We did a press release that went out to local media. It was in the Californian, Monterey County Now, which was Monterey County Weekly, Monterey Bay Parents, See Monterey, and KSBW. It was featured on KSBW's community calendar. We had digital email ads with Monterey County Now. We had digital email ads with the Salinas Chamber. Flyers were posted downtown in the businesses. Email blasts went out to SECIA subscribers. It was promoted on Instagram and Facebook, and it was posted to local calendars such as Monterey County Now, See Monterey, Salinas Chamber, and What's Up Monterey. So we really put it out there for everyone to know about it. What worked this year? The Salinas Fire Department, they love being involved, and I think everyone loves having them involved. The kids really like that they bring the big ladder truck, and it's kind of a big show. I don't know if anyone was there to see it, but Kimberly did an awesome job emceeing. She was great to have there this year. The Salinas Chamber was awesome to have them involved. Santa and his elf, obviously, that was great. The hot cocoa, we had free parking all day in the Monterey parking structure, which was new this year for all shops tomorrow Saturday, which was an awesome addition that a lot of the businesses have been requesting for years, and we finally were able to get it for them. And then I think it worked having it on Shop Small Saturday because it kind of promoted spending the whole day in downtown Salinas and supporting local. So hopefully before the tree lighting you did some shopping, maybe you went and got your kid free cocoa, but then also bought yourself a coffee and then went out to dinner afterwards. My family went out to dinner afterwards. We went to Portobello's and it was packed. It was insane how crazy it was. I mean, one of their friends who was just there dining ended up waiting on people because it was so crazy packed. So I personally think it worked to have it. I would love to have other people's opinions though if they thought it worked on Shop Small Saturday. What did not work? So we had a craft table. The idea of the craft table I love, but our vendor pulled out last minute to actually put on the craft table. So SCCIA last minute bought some crafts on Amazon. Greg and his wife went out and put some crafts together. And so we had a table because we had been promoting that there was going to be crafts for kids, but it wasn't run.
It wasn't coordinated.
It wasn't coordinated or run how it could have been because our vendor pulled out last minute. So it didn't really work. Entertainment, although Yosel and Ariel did a fantastic job, it was not easy to find willing and available entertainment. And year after year, this is a struggle, mainly because it's Thanksgiving week, and so all these groups say we can't get our students. So I reached out to like every school, every dance studio, every dance troupe, and everyone's like, our kids are on break. So that's always kind of like I don't know if it's really working. And then the crowd, they really don't show up until the tree lighting. So we started at 4, and we have these crafts, and we have this entertainment, and there's barely anyone there to entertain. But then at 5, when we tell them the tree is going to get lit, that's when everyone kind of shows up. So those are kind of things that we've been observing. So with that in consideration, and if anyone has any other what works, what doesn't work feedback, I'd love to hear it. But with just that, next year, after considering what continues to work and what historically has not worked well, we are looking at the following. Hosted on Shop Small Saturday at CSUMB again. Partner with Salinas Chamber for their sound system and extra promotions. as well as having them possibly MC. Shorten the event to just 5 to 6 p.m. Eliminate the entertainment before the tree lighting and focus only on the tree lighting. Santa arrives with Salinas Fire at 5 p.m. The tree is lit by 5:15 p.m. and Santa sticks around for pictures and meeting with kids. Short and sweet. Hire a vocalist or a musician possibly to perform instead of trying to find local volunteers who are enjoying their Thanksgiving break. Continue with the free parking and the free hot cocoa. So a shorter, more focused on the tree event. So.
And then things to keep in mind, the very next day was the Parade of Lights. So
there was some
we had
confusion with
another-
that as well. Like I was getting a lot of messages, oh, I heard you guys canceled the tree lighting when they thought the parade was being canceled. And so hopefully next year that won't happen. But so then here's just some pictures to share with you guys in case you couldn't make it of Yosel performing Aerial Productions, Salinas Fire. That's our magical elf, Martin. Kimberly, Santa, the man, the myth, the legend.
It's actually a really good picture.
That's a great
That's a real Santa. So.
Yeah.
And then this is the crowd that was there for the actual lighting. So it's a nice crowd for the lighting part.
How does it compare to last year, crowd-wise?
It's different because last year we did it during the parade.
Yeah, we tried something new last year.
But the year prior to that, that is a
That is way more than last.
crowd.
Yeah.
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 And why did we separate from the parade if we did it with them?
We only partnered with the parade 1 year. Last year we tried
Did that
it.
not go well?
The communication with the parade committee wasn't as easy as we had hoped.
It didn't go as smooth as, and then there was some miscommunication in how Santa was gonna show up. We thought Santa was gonna be like leading the parade. And it turns out he was like 4 or 5 floats back, and so the parade stops, and Santa is kind of just hanging out there by Dubbers, you know. And then he had to come up, and it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
No fault of
They have a
anybody.
very good organization anyway right now, so until they sort of get that under control.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility that maybe in a couple years we can go back to that direction,
What has
but
been your feedback for the farmer's market during Shop Small Saturday? Have you had feedback?
I
know
have.
I'm getting feedback
I
from
have.
people from store
From
owners and
businesses?
different,
Negative,
negative feedback.
Negative or positive?
Negative.
Both
feedback.
ways. I'm getting it both ways.
I've only received negative.
I've received positive and negative. Some people love it, and some people are like, well, they're small businesses as well. So, and then others are like, it's blocking the road. It makes it sort
Always
of
been that, yeah.
it's just weird timing, you know.
They had, like, I had 3 separate merchants just ask, like, hey, can't we get one Saturday where we don't have the
Right.
have the farmer's market here so that we can leave it open for our businesses, because they're here every Saturday. And so if we could move it somewhere else so that it leaves it open for our customers, but I don't know, I mean, I would, my assumption was that they would get more business because of the farmer's market, but they said that's not the case. They're not getting as much business as that.
Well, and
that they
hopefully the
think.
parking too, that we opened up the parking garage and,
Right,
I
hopefully
mean,
that helped.
if we can stay consistent on that, then I think it would help. Everyone would learn that that is an option, right? We spent all that time educating that it was there, available, but I'm sure a lot of people probably didn't even know that was available. Although the streets were, I saw parking everywhere. Your parking lot, I drove by when I got here and saw parking everywhere and thought, oh gosh, is nobody here? And then once I got in the garage and walked around downtown, there was quite a bit of people.
I have a quick question. Amy, for the merchants that you have spoken with that say that on Shop Small Saturday, yeah.
Yep.
Are they saying that the farmer's market only interrupts that particular Saturday, or?
That particular
I would
Saturday.
think that over the years that we've had the farmer's market downstairs at downtown, that the businesses have actually been supported, the coffee shop, the restaurants, over the course of time. So are they still complaining about the farmer's market, but
No.
just that Saturday?
Just that Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify.
not, I haven't heard complaints about it being, they just said, oh, we'd like to have one Saturday where they, like during that Shop
like
Small
on Shop
Saturday,
Small Saturday,
that
not
it
have
should be left open so that people can just come and park and shop and, you know, come and go, because otherwise they're having to go around, you know what I mean? And so they're like, oh, it's just not as convenient. It would be nice to have that one Saturday where they couldn't have it downtown.
They're moving one Saturday a year over to the,
There's a few Saturdays, because of the parades in the summer that fall on Saturday, they have to move for that, like the horse parades and whatnot. But in general, they're there 49 weekends out of the year.
That's a request we make to the city or to the farmer's market?
I think if we want to get ahead of this, I think we need to talk to Kristen Lundquist over at Recreation Special Events and say that we as an organization come together and say, we want this.
Because it makes sense that's one of the biggest shopping weekends for the retailers downtown, to leave it open for them. So
I can reach out to Kristen and see what our procedure is for that.
And is the idea there's another place that they move it on those days, or it's not held?
There is a location currently that they can go to. Lot 12 is the lot just north of the Rotunda, but it's, the organizers of Farmers Market don't like it there because it's out of the way, people don't know it's there because now they're used to it being downtown, et cetera, et cetera. And then Lot 12 is also gonna be out of contention pretty soon.
It would sort of be nice maybe even just to get some feedback, just get some hard numbers, maybe we could send out a survey. Because then you can have actual figures, and so if you have 95% of people saying, no, we like it, then don't even address it. But maybe it doesn't cost anything for us to then go ahead and send out an email blast, just ask, if we could put, what is it called, the chamber does all the time, so.
A survey.
Yeah, survey, put out the survey and then see what people say, and then we can respond, I think maybe that way, and, because we're representing all these businesses downtown, and they do pay for brick and mortar, and so we need to make sure that we're addressing and supporting their needs.
Makes sense.
Shop small was actually a concept we came up with when I worked at American Express. We used to sponsor Shop Small back in the day, and I don't know if they still do.
They still do.
But have we ever approached them about getting some money out of them and helping them
We are
market?
trying to work with them.
They don't give money, they basically just give you sponsorship kits at this time. So we have done that in the past, where we get a stack of posters and we put them all out and things like that, but they don't give like grants or, $1,000 for printing or anything like that.
Let's talk offline, because I know.
You know, Guy?
Well, I know that.
They did very helpful for the chamber, so Greg headed the chamber children's shopping tour. And I chaired it as well, I did for the 3 past years, and they waive all their fees, I buy the American Express cards from them, they waive all their fees for the kids, American Express has been very helpful when they're donating, and, I would say just a couple $1,000s to take these children shopping that we're trying to raise money for, which has been a successful event for over 70 years. So I've used American Express for the last 5 years to do it, and they've been really helpful. This year was a little bit tough on some of the situations on activating the cards. Greg and I spent a lot of time working on that, but they were wonderful about waiving their fees for us because of the situation that we were doing, and it was nonprofit. So they are helpful.
Well, I worked there for a long time, I know a lot of those.
And incidentally, on the tree, I was just told this morning by security that our timer was stolen. So I'm gonna buy a new timer today.
Well, maybe you should talk about the electrician that's actively working on raising the.
Sure, yes, that's a SOBO thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can talk about it.
Is there,
Well, just a little more about holidays. So we have an active holiday campaign going on right now where we're promoting the tree lighting in November, and now we're just promoting Spend the Holidays in downtown Salinas. So that is, we have digital and print ads with Monterey County Now. We have an online broadcast with KSBW, and we have digital ads with the Salinas Chamber. So let me see if I can play our KSBW commercial for you. And it says,
So this is an actual tenant that lives downtown.
well, no,
and
this is our
works-
holiday
Oh, the
commercial.
holiday.
So that's coming next. Sorry, the sound.
Play in Salinas City Center. Support local businesses by shopping at the numerous downtown boutiques and stores. Celebrate the season with friends and family at over 20 family-owned and operated eateries and bars. Enjoy the festive holiday decor throughout downtown, including the beautiful Salinas Tree for Peace. This holiday season, shop, dine, play in Salinas City Center.
So that's our holiday commercial. And then what Audrey's
And where,
talking.
what mediums is that airing on?
That is on KSBW and ABC.
That's paid placement or
Yes.
is it free?
That's paid. And then,
And I'm sorry we're not hooking you up to the.
It's okay. I
Next time we
I
can
couldn't get
tee
here
it up
early
in
enough to
advance.
figure it out anyway. So next time if I have something to show, I'll try to get here
Yeah.
earlier. And then also what Audrey was just mentioning, we recently worked with Mag1 Media, a production team downtown, on a live, work, play campaign to promote how you can pretty much do everything in Salinas City Center. You can live here, you can work here, you can hang out here, you don't have to leave. And that campaign is going to be used for a Google Ads campaign that we have a grant for. I think we got a $10,000 Google Ads grant, which is a pretty good chunk to run ads on Google. And this is the first video of the campaign. And this video is focused on one guy who does live here, he does play or hang out here, he does work here, he does everything. So this is his story. This is the first, so there will be multiple videos that are a part of this campaign. This is the first story of the campaign.
Downtown Salinas is not just where I live. It's where I work and it's where I hang out. Everything's right here, and it's all just a quick walk away. My day kicks off with the city right outside my door. I grab my morning coffee at a local shop and then head to the office. Thankfully, it's not a long commute. It's just a quick walk. Come lunchtime, I step out to grab a bite at one of the many local restaurants. After work, I meet up with friends for a happy hour that can sometimes stretch into the dinner hour. Whether I'm looking for a casual bite or a special night out, Downtown Salinas has endless options to support and explore. Welcome to my downtown, Salinas City Center, where I live, work, and play.
So that's the first of that one. So
Who's that guy, Tiffany's kid?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's who?
Right?
Who is it?
Rena.
Tiffany and Tulio's son.
Yeah.
He's one of your employees.
Yeah.
And he lives at the 301 Main. Yeah. Or live. Oh, yeah, he just moved, but.
Get your talent where you know them. I don't have a talent budget, so. So that's the first one. That will be on Google Ads. So that will show up when people are on YouTube or just Googling things, and there will be other components of that about working specifically, living specifically, dining, shopping. There will be all these different components to that campaign. So that's just the first video. So as they roll out, I can share more. But that's what we have.
And those will go kind of year-round, throughout the year,
Yeah.
not just holiday.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the first one is just gonna be running through December 30th, the holiday commercial. That one will be until we run out of our $10,000. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're gonna need some more housing. So
Yeah.
we can promote that ad.
That's what I was thinking.
Perfect, thank you.
That's your cue.
Thank you, Jenna.
We remain very quiet.
SOBO, want to share any updates with us?
Oh, sorry, yes, you go for it.
Okay, the electrical thing that Amy alluded to, one of the reasons it's taking so long to get our electrical outlet boxes fixed is because our electrician is having a hard time sourcing the material needed to install it. So he finally found some brown liquid tight, that's what they call it. I think the brand name is called liquid tight conduit, but it's basically flexible conduit. We're gonna run it up the trees 10, 15 feet. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, walking around downtown, all of the trees are pretty much out. Where last year, the year before, they were not. So in the past year, the local population has just destroyed all of our lock boxes and outlets, and for some reason some outlets are cut. Like, what are you gonna do with a plug? But just ends cut off. So anyway, Ryan is getting all the materials together. He said he was gonna start coming out this week or early next week to start pushing the outlets up into the trees so they're inaccessible. And this is as a follow-up for you guys that don't know. This is as a follow-up for having put all of our outlets on a photovoltaic sensor. So daylight, photo activated. So sunlight lights are off, no sunlight lights turn on. And so what's happened is the side effect from that is people would try and plug into a box and they'd get upset and move to the next box and break that one open too and find out that one is not on either. So
Because it's not nighttime.
because it's not nighttime. But come nighttime, they're all on. But anyway, so they're all broken, and we've put in several work orders with the city to get like the hazardous ones taken care of. The ones on the theme post, the big round poles, they get broken off and they arc out a lot. And the city's replaced 2 or 3, and a week later they get knocked off again. So it's kind of frustrating. But anyway, so that's.
Is there a way to harden those, so?
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's what the, last year, or earlier this year, I don't know, when was that? We ran a quick experiment where we bought a stainless steel lockbox, and it's amazing, it's bulletproof, but it's also extremely expensive. And so the conduit up the tree is about 2/3 of the price, and a lot easier to do. So that's what we're gonna go for. Or try that out. We've got a few of them that we demoed, and so far they're working out. And incidentally, the stainless steel box that we bought that's in front of Heirloom Pizza is still bulletproof. Nothing's happened to that one, but the box itself is like $400 each. And we have like
Install.
50 locations, so I mean, it was just an insane dollar amount at the end of it.
I'm on my 11th ring camera,
Yeah.
so I now have it inside that same stainless steel box.
Yep, yep. So it just parts break. Other than that, landscaping has requested, or Smith and Enright has requested a water source because they keep filling up their watering trailer at their yard, and it's just not gonna work for them anymore. So if I wasn't gonna find a local watering source for them, they would have to start charging us. But I've coordinated with the city, and the city is going to provide water to Smith and Enright to water trees and plants downtown that are not on the sprinkler system. We keep an eye out on the other irrigation stuff, and occasionally irrigation stuff is not our responsibility, and so we hand that off to Public Works. We've done that a few times in the last month or two. And that's, and other than the security guard, but that's about it for SOBO. Anything else, Amy?
Does Public Works typically respond in a timely manner
No.
for irrigation stuff?
No. Well, the irrigation stuff maybe, but we usually, if we find a leak, I mean, Smith and Enright will turn it off.
Right.
When it's our irrigation, or at least our responsibility for the irrigation, we fix it right away the moment we find it. But in terms of like the electrical boxes that are requested to be fixed, that is, every single work order that I put in has now been put on indefinite hold.
I'm curious, the downtown improvements that are in place today was a city project.
Correct.
Why would we be fixing stuff that the city did? Because they don't do it? Is it that simple?
I think so. I think that's ultimately the answer. If we want it to be looking nice and working, it's up to us. I don't know what their excuse is, why. Maybe because, we're only 4% of the city.
They don't give a shit.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. But yeah, so safety hazard wise, I report it right. If it's a safety issue, I report it right away.
Sure.
And the city will usually get on it pretty fast, but all the other stuff is cosmetic, and they don't get to it immediately.
There's a topic for your next city manager council meetings.
I've also, for parking enforcement, because we all know it's haphazard, it's all over the place, I've reached out to the Public Works again to see, just out of curiosity, what it would cost or how much it actually is to have a dedicated parking enforcement officer for downtown. And I'm trying to figure out, and I talked to Frank a little bit about this, trying to figure out how much of, how many tickets are actually written in our district and where that money goes. Because I wanna know. I wanna know how it's spread out, so. That's about it.
You should be able to access the contract that the city has with the parking group.
Right.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't really say on deliverables or how it's spread out.
I've observed one of the persons, because their cars are parked in front of the Christmas tree most
Yes.
of the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if they're doing it in front of the Christmas tree now, but it's here, it's
Yeah.
sitting there a lot. I think.
She comes out pretty regularly and she's pretty good and,
Is
and
she?
they're fairly responsible because I do report cars that are, and actually mostly motorcycles. I report motorcycles that park on the sidewalk.
Good.
Um,
Can they ticket them?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and last week, as a matter of fact, somebody parked on the sidewalk and I said, hey, excuse me, do you know that there's motorcycle parking over there? And the guy said, yeah. I'm like, would you like to move? And he's like, nope. I'm like, all right, cool, click. So, and that was right in front of Alvarado Brewing Company. And motorcycle parking is 50 yards away. So, we don't want oil spots on all the pavers and whatnot, so. Anything else, Amy?
No, we're continuing to work on nailing down every block captain, right? Hopefully we'll have that locked in by the first of the year so that we can start giving reports about in what section people are reporting. So what we did was Greg split up certain sections of the Salinas City Center, right? And what blocks that they're gonna be, I believe 10, did you do it for 10? And then, so we're looking for 10 block captains, and we have already outlined who we have already asked, and people who've responded, and there's some that haven't, and so we're looking for a few others. And then what will happen is once a month, if they can, I mean, they can just walk around, and then email Greg, hey, I noticed this, this, and this, so that we can get on top of it, so that every part of our district's actually being looked at, because even though Greg and I or any of our board members, right, or walk downtown all the time, we see a lot that happens in the 100, 200, or 300 block down Main Street, but when you start hitting San Luis or Central or, you know, certain areas you just don't see as much because we're not there as often, so the people who actually work in those buildings, that we're trying to ask if we could designate one person. Take a weekly walk one time, just look around, if you see something that's not addressed or not to be taken care of, we're doing that, so we've outlined that, so we should have that all buttoned up by your next meeting.
Oh, and one last thing, I'm interviewing replacements for our second streetscape maintenance position, so that should be done this week.
And you already had one yesterday?
I had 3 yesterday.
Right, yeah.
So, and then 1 tomorrow.
Did they go pretty good?
Yeah. I'll probably talk to you guys offline about, you know, some of them, but overall it's, yeah, they're good. I mean,
Great. Land use.
Yeah, so the Thanksgiving holiday interfered with our regular meeting last month, so we'll get going again and reconvene in January. I think we'll just revisit some of the priorities, and now we've got a new council in place, so I think it'll start coming together and we can kind of zero in on some things that hopefully we can get accomplished in 2025. So we'll be back at it in January and report back.
For those of us who are new, is there some summary somewhere of what we are asked, what our ask would be if we?
Well, so we've over the years like generated a priority list. We do it every year. We report to the city council what our accomplishments were for the year before and what our objectives are moving forward. So, you know, our committee, there's a lot of them. There's like 10 or 12 different priorities.
Does that exist somewhere where we could get copies?
Yeah, that would be helpful. I think it's on our, well, is it in the annual report where we do our goals and objectives? Yeah, I think towards the end. So, yeah, it's on the website too, and so you can see the accomplishments, goals and objectives for all the committees in there, including land use. And then, of course, you know, you're welcome to be part of that committee too. You know, we encourage people to participate or attend. Exactly.
Which causes me to, for our new members, Peter Casavan has been an active part of this board and is involved in the land use committee. Peter is a prominent local architect. I think most of you know who he is. Was the designer on the arch. And Peter is, again, a very key guy in the land use committee process and has been for a number of years. And he isn't here today, obviously, but I just thought I should mention him because he's been on this board for a number of years, like a lot of us.
Yeah, so that's
Is he
it.
still on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not here today.
He's on one more year.
Oh, okay.
Any public comment?
Oh, gosh, you went through a lot real quick. No, I was thinking about something, but no, I can't remember it right now.
Okay, any board questions or further discussion that we haven't covered?
Only item is I thought we were gonna vote on an amended budget today.
But we
It's
didn't,
not on here.
but you didn't get it.
Oh, I
Did
was
you get
gonna
it?
give it today.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll do it next
Okay.
time. Yeah, sorry. Just amending, now we have actual financial year-end balances, put that into our own budget.
We'll do that in January.
I'll add it
Yeah.
to January.
You know, I wanted to bring up parking. I know it's an old topic, but it seems that now that we have a new mayor and new council, this would be a really appropriate time to repose the question of some sort of a study to find out what kind of revenue could be generated by a parking district in the downtown to take care of our area. And I mean, we know we have the parking garage that hasn't supported itself for years. It isn't being used because it's poorly managed, there's no security. I would never send my wife down into that garage after 5 o'clock. So until the city takes care of that garage, we're never gonna get people using it. And I think it's just critical at this point that we meet with the mayor and the new council and see if we can get something moving in the proper direction and hopefully turn it into some form of a revenue source for the downtown.
The other thing, Frank, our land use committee has been discussing off and on for this past year, is there a way that we could raise some money to do a parking management plan that could be presented to the city that would give them some reason of why they should let loose of it and let us perhaps take over the management of it? And one of the issues we've talked about several times, is there a way we could get a grant that's probably in the 50 to 60, I think it's in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. I think Peter.
I thought it was 25,000.
No, it was more than that.
There were a couple of them.
Yeah.
One was for 75,000, another one came in at 25,000, neither of them were,
That's why we said maybe 50 ought to be a round number. But if there's some way with our incredible grant people that we could stir up some money for there, it would be really something neat. if we
Or
could
maybe
pull
we
that off.
could, maybe we could share it. Maybe we pay
Yeah.
50% and have the city
I
put in
agree.
50%.
Yeah, I think-
Somehow get a collaboration going.
My recollection when we had some serious conversation dialogue with the city about, maybe partnering with them, or even for SCCIA to be embarking on it, utilizing assessments in some of our budget. My recollection was that staff looked at that, the city attorney weighed in, and was like, yeah, we can't really use the assessments for that
Right,
purpose.
we can't
or
use the
something.
assessment.
But that's why we're exploring, private
Right,
funding
sorry.
or
Yeah,
grant
yeah,
funding in
yes.
order to
Right,
do
yes.
that, because it was pretty significant. But there were some, at least, limitations that the city attorney identified in terms of maybe us allocating some of our, assessment money.
Well,
to
let
that
the
side.
city do it on their own then.
Yeah, well, we talked
Which
about
is-
doing that too, and at some point, it sounded like Lisa was.
Less than enthusiastic.
Yeah, there was some issue with that, maybe it was because of issues with the council, and then the city manager
Public
came
Works,
on, and so
right.
trying to understand what he wants to prioritize, and
Yeah.
so 2025 might be a good opportunity to.
Yeah.
Parking
Revisit
management
that.
really needs to be at the forefront of something this next year for us.
Well, it's all in the vibrancy plan, I mean, it's
Yeah.
all those concepts are
Right,
laid
yeah.
out, it's supposed to be a.
Well,
goal.
unfortunately, it'll get worse when the two pieces of parking lot are finalized to Tater Farms. Fortunately, it'll help it get worse. So that'll add presumably add an impetus for the city to do something. Frank is laughing like, yeah, right.
Well, it needs to get bad before they do anything.
That's my point.
Okay, well, if there are no further comments, we'll adjourn this meeting. 11:00.